Joshi and Pyrotechnics. After we got to hear a little bit from Spawn, as I'll give the stage to you, Joshi. You had some very kind words before the interview started.
Yeah, I feel like we've been seeing so much growth coming out from Spawn over the course of spring to summer, right? The first person I really started seeing this from was Jan over for Team Liquid Academy, but now seeing Spawn, the aggression we saw yesterday was not just a fluke and it's starting to become the norm. That elevates him from being somebody that I already thought was probably a top three Academy AD carry to maybe being the best one that we have in the entire league. This guy is super slept on, and I am very excited to see where he goes next.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, how do
you're
you like that
looking.
aggro, Mazel? He got
I
a
know.
little bit more this time. When you give
I
Manny
know.
Yasuo,
Hey,
I think we maybe did him dirty in the Goldilocks pit.
maybe a little bit. Maybe he was just right. But it was nice to hear him Spawn. Again, it'll be a little while till they hit the rift again. So get a little break under their belt. But not for us because we got to go right into our next matchup. And I'm looking over at my screen. I'm side eyeing you, Joshi, right now because there was something we talked about at the very beginning of the day that we're gonna come into today. We have setups. It's Team Liquid Honda Academy versus CLG Academy. We are all repping. I will say, just a caveat here, there's a Team Liquid jersey on its way to my house right now, but I do not have it. So, CLG, you got to be first. Here you go, baby. I got to represent as I had two Team Liquid jerseys on the desk. But it is,
I won it twice this week. What do you want?
hey, there you go. Twice.
Honestly, both these teams are fantastic.
They are.
I'm
They are
happy to watch
indeed.
them both go head to
I,
head.
I I think this is the match of the day. I would name it myself because I think this one's super interesting in every aspect of it. But especially when you're looking at the CLG Academy roster, I think there's a lot to be learned from the trials and tribulations of the early part of the season into now, and especially looking at the difference when they had Luger subbing in. For now, they're replacing him, Meech, who is the main intended roster here for CLG Academy, Joshi.
Yeah, and we've definitely been seeing, right? We knew Luger when he was playing for 100 Thieves. He was instantly obvious to everyone. This guy is probably going to be a top 5 LCS AD carry when he actually joins the league. And so, to compare him to Meech is a set of big shoes for Meech to actually have to fill. But I feel as though he's been doing a remarkable job for somebody who is really just now having some of his first official competitive experience.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, he came into the team after scrimming with them, remotely, waiting to get everything all sorted out, and kind of just made an instant splash. I remember some of the first games we saw with Meech on the Rift, and he was just tearing it up on an individual level. This is a guy that doesn't miss like 50-50s. He's just got such incredible positioning. And we talked about stacked bot laners. You just talked to Spawn. I think Jan is another player that, we've kept a lot of our eyes on with that. But Meech is right up there with a lot of them, old and new. And I think it's so impressive to see. I mean, he's so new that he's a DLC character on the roster right now. We got to unlock him, but he's already tearing it up. Like that's great stuff.
And I'm hoping to bring up the head-to-head graphic we have here between Luger and Meech and see a bit of the differences between the two here, Joshi, and pick apart what you can look for and some of the beauties from both of them that I feel like is represented in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things we have to look at is the fact that Luger played 6 games with CLG, whereas Meech has now played 10 with the same roster. And so we're seeing Meech's stats come down a little bit overall just because it's a reversion to the mean. But Luger, he started off, and not only did they drop a couple of games to IMT, but then they came back and they slaughtered Team Liquid, right? CLG looked so good, and that's part of why his damage per minute is incredibly high, because in that one game, he had or at least in that series, one of the games he had DPM over 1,000, right? So he is incredibly talented, but now that Meech is coming right back on in, his numbers are still pretty good across the board, and we're seeing a slight shift in the way that he actually plays, whereas Luger has always been incredibly good at the more traditional marksman. We're seeing that Meech really kind of favoring some of the newer styles in Zeri and the Senna.
Yeah, not only that, he's also been one of the ones to adopt the Twitch counter pick to the Zeri. It doesn't show up, of course, on this one. It was just a single game, but he tore it up in that one. And I think big shoes to fill for sure to try to even compare to Luger, but the numbers he's put up already over 10 games are very respectable. Damage percentage a little on the lower side. I don't know how much that has to do with the Senna games. We didn't want to look at the gold because that was going to get screwed up, but he's still doing a pretty good job, all things considered. And I think the champions he picks are very emblematic of how well he plays around his positioning. I think, honestly, Meech has some of the best team fight positioning in Academy.
And I kind of want to go back. You talked about the damage percentage, right? Well, Meech's looks low compared to Luger. Luger's number is stupidly high, right? That is ridiculously high. That is, the kind of number that you see as the number one across the entire league, kind of high. Whereas Meech, that's a very respectable number. Typically, you're looking at 80 carries somewhere between like 20 and 25% damage share. So he is already on the high end of what we're looking at. It's just that Luger is so exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in these kinds of situations when you are coming into the fold. He was getting ready for the season in LCS. I think it shows a little bit of the differences, but I love that you highlighted a lot of the mechanics from each, because that's what's shown out for me. You get to see a little bit of the aggression, the hands out plays now and then that will continue to develop for this player. And as you were saying, the positioning in team fights is already so darn good that I can't wait to see the iteration as we come out of summer even and into PG and into next split and the continued progress from each himself, because it's a bit of a Titan complex on the other side here. I don't know what to say. What else more? I mean, you got two people on the desk with their shirts on. I don't know. I'm being taken over here. It is Team Liquid Honda Academy coming in here. The winners of Spring Proving Grounds hit the ground running here in summer as well. Yes, they've fallen. Yes, Joshi has some spicy things to say about them, but all in all, I feel like this team has performed to at least some of the expectations we had at the beginning of the split, Pyra.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a team that has very much they have to be like considered number one until proven otherwise. And they've been very adamant when they have lost odd games that it's basically like almost the BM like, oh yeah, you're not beating us, we're beating ourselves. But they are making a couple of those mistakes, and that's usually what costs them games. Without that, they're honestly incredibly terrifying, even with those errors that they make that let teams come back in with Herculean effort. I'm thinking back to the FlyQuest game with the Spyrax Shurima Shuffle. They still look so darn good, and in every lane, in every role, pound for pound, they're incredible.
Yeah, and as we go back through a little bit of the good and the bad, Joshi, I'll go ahead and give you your soapbox. You talk about the good and the ugly and the bad, whatever combo you want of this team, because we have seen almost every iteration at this point.
True, and I feel it has to be said, I have not casted a single Team Liquid loss so far, so I think we're looking at another 2-0 a day, maybe a fast one, everyone. But the thing is, I actually really like the attitude, right? Where some people might look at it as a little bit of BM from Team Liquid when they say, we're beating ourselves, other teams aren't beating us. I've been on that team. I've been a top dog in like small rec leagues, and if you think that you are getting beaten, that's an entirely different thing. But Team Liquid very clearly think they're the best. They hold themselves accountable and just say, if we aren't making these mistakes, if we aren't making these clear errors, we should be able to win. And to be frank, I agree with them. I feel like a lot of the times we've been seeing Team Liquid kind of fall behind is mostly because they are trying to do things that's a little bit too far. The only time where I feel like they have actually been resoundly beaten was by the team they're playing against today.
Yeah, and that was with Luger, so I want to see if Meech can do the same thing. I do believe in that, but I think more to your point there, Joshi, like we have one of the issues, I think, with a couple of the Team Liquid members, particularly in the mid and bot, I think Harry and Jan, it's almost like they get a little impatient when they're not like winning on the schedule they think they should be. Like that's when the YOLO dives come in. And like Bradley's positioning sometimes is a little bit scuffed too. And he is the younger player, so I want to cut him a bit more slack there. But like, that too. Yeah, like he's off rolling technically. When do we call it official? I don't know.
That's the next thing I was gonna say. Is like, when does it officially become official?
It's the second split.
I know I'll definitely be looking at this bot lane. I want to see how Meech performs, what the difference is for CLG Academy going into this one against Team Liquid Academy, as we are ready to hit the champion select for game number 1 of the series. Joshi, Pyra, let's have some fun.
Hi, Lennon.
All right. Thank you, Mizell. Yes, it is all coming down to this, Joshi, as we have Team Liquid Honda taking on CLG Academy. Yep. Corki banned off the board to start things off. It's been a lot of Corki shenanigans ever since the Dignitas summoning circle. But no Belveth this game again. Are we going to be 0-4 on Belveth? I was so looking forward to someone letting it through.
I would rather teams recognize that the champion is broken and not get to see it than have to see another demonstration of, oh wow, the team that picked this champion just wins the game. But I want to look at Team Liquid, and I think there are two primary ways that other teams have demonstrated that you can beat them. The first one, you dunk on Bradley, right? He's, again, at what point is he actually just a top laner instead of a role swapped mid laner? Who knows? But the big thing is, in games where you put him behind and have a coordinated decision between your jungle and your top laner that you are going to gank Bradley over and over, he can crumble to that. The other way that we've seen teams really take down Team Liquid, and this is how CLG did it, was being better than Jan and Ayla. And that is a tall task, but because of how aggressive Jan has been in summer compared to spring, he sometimes overextends, and nobody has really been good enough to punish him for those overextensions, except for Luger and Breezy. Now Meech needs to do the same thing.
I agree, and also I think Breezy's going to be a big part of some of the 2v2s, and we've seen his Renata be absolutely game-changing, and I note it's not banned here, as we see the Wukong first pick for our Mayo. I think you could opt into taking a full bot lane. In fact, if you really want to, you could even do like a Xayah Rakan. You're showing a little bit of your cards early. I don't know if they want to do that right away. And I do think it's much more likely we see that bottom lane 2v2 focus compared to the top side. Because if you do look at the nameplates for CLG, I'm not as convinced that Jenkins is going to have what it takes to beat Bradley. But they lock in a first pick, Azir here for triple.
And I made a little bit of a face there because I'm not super convinced by this first pick coming through. And it's also worth noting that Team Liquid, they recognize that Seraphine is strong, but they're confident in their ability to beat it. We saw it yesterday when they played both of their games up against Cloud9. Team Liquid played the Yasuo in a very similar vein to what we saw from Dignitas. They just played the Yasuo both times and they went 1-1. But as we see these two champions coming through for Azir and Kalista, you have a very long-range Azir and a very, short to medium-range Kalista. And so it sets up a situation where you're fighting at these kind of odd ranges for me for CLG, and it requires a lot of individual skill in order to pilot this kind of roster.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen one Kalista game already out of Meech. It wasn't one of the ones they were able to win, so I'm hoping they can pick things up a little bit more, and what they actually decide to kind of toss on the end of the Pokeball there is going to be interesting. But an early pickup of that mid lane, and yet we're going to see the takeaway. That's Renata Glass for Ayla. I love this.
Whoa!
And a Mumu. Are we actually getting the bandage toss yo-yo? I think we are.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we haven't seen this champion in quite a while, right? There was a bit of play from it around, I believe it was Worlds in last year, around 2021, where it really started coming back, right? Because it got the change to its Q. It got an ammo system, so you could hold up to 2 of them. You had a 3-second between them. But, Q, ult Q, they are stunned almost the entire duration, so it's very hard to get away. And now that it's coming back, you pair it with the Kalista, you have very straightforward engage. And CLG, the biggest thing about this is Amumu's laning phase kind of sucks, right? Like, you don't have a lot of opportunities to go in unless you have a jungler that can help you.
Yep, so I do have a little bit of an update for you, too. Thanks to our wonderful production, we do have a little bit of where that came from. Apparently, the LPL was playing this last night, so if you're staying up late to watch it. Ooh. And also, over on Academy stream, this is also happening. So the Mumu is coming back. We're just seeing one side of it, but is it going to be enough for CLG to take game number 1? We'll find out. Because we have a couple more bans coming through we want to talk about before we get into this next phase. The Trundle off the board for Team Liquid Honda, and of course, the Fiora has been pretty consistently banned as well, and the LeBlanc, no Udyr as well. So Rosethorn is going to get denied a bit, and I wonder where he goes from here.
Well, we talked about how Viego kind of disappeared. Viego has been played 11 times by Rosethorn, but not as much recently. And so CLG, they already have this Amumu coming through. Now, I am curious where that Amumu was actually played, if it was being played as a support or as a jungler, because I haven't seen it in quite a while. It kind of leaves it open to interpretation for now, but with the Gragas coming through, we know that CLG has plenty of engage tools. Almost every single person on this roster has a button that can just get a fight started. So CLG, I like what they're doing. They're coming here and they're ready to scrap and kind of take skill checks up against Team Liquid.
And I do think for a team that has a lot of power in a number of these lanes, especially down bot, I think that is a strategy that you can have a lot of confidence, can at least get you some success. Maybe not the whole game, but it can get you some success. Seraphine locked in as well. This should be mid Seraphine for Harry.
Yeah, Harry was one of the very few people that was playing this well before the buffs, and I was excited when I saw it because there's not a lot of people who are willing to lock this in, but Harry's able to do it. And one of the things that I always say, almost every single cast, there's no way that gets locked in, is the Seraphine... or Harry wins lanes, he goes ups, yes, in matchups he's not supposed to. And going up against the Azir is definitely a situation where he's not supposed to have any leads.
All right. Yeah, I think Harry is going to be a lane to watch as well up against the side of triple. And, of course, that Olaf gets locked in by Bradley. Up top side, we'll see how Jenkins chooses to... Oh, excuse me, it's already well, Gragas could be jungle because we got a Kled in this game. Just when you thought we were out of surprises, Josh, we got more.
Oh, it's a
love it.
Gragas jungle coming
It is.
through for Rose
Talk about
Thorn.
throwbacks, man.
What a
Talk about
wild-
throwbacks. I haven't seen this in a while.
This is wild. Jenkins was one of the classic Kled players. The only other person I really think of that really put games on this. Well, there's B, but there's also Niles, who is currently playing for Maryville University. But I feel as though Bradley, he's one of the players who is really specialized up here in the Olaf top. He's been counterpicked with the Yark before. Now it's the Kled coming through. But Team Liquid's roster, or their composition, is just so straightforward, and you just have to feel is kind of on top of it. But you make Wukong and Olaf incredibly difficult to kill. You have a bailout, you have a ton of healing coming through from Seraphine, you have 2 team fight deciding ultimates in the Encore and the hostile takeover. CLG really need to get through all the area control and then take down Olaf and Wukong, and I feel like that is a very tough task for them to do. Their win conditions are the same as Dignitas's. Kill the Seraphine.
Yeah, pretty much. And that is going to decide a lot of the game. However, it's a lot easier said than done. And of course, on the CLG side, as you mentioned, trying to skill check, trying to go ahead and scrap. If they can create a little bit of chaos, not let the Seraphine be protected, they might have an opportunity. They might have an in. But it was never going to be easy against the side of Team Liquid. And we will find out if CLG can do it once again as we are loading up onto Summer's Rift for this game. What a banger I expect it to be.
And going in, right, I talked at the very beginning of the day. I currently have my top 3 teams being Team Liquid, Cloud9, and 100 Thieves. CLG is currently my number 4, but it's not by a huge margin. I think the other 3 teams are beating them up, and so Team Liquid, this is their way to kind of make a statement that they are the number 1, that the reason that they lost in week 1 was only because Luger was actually part of that roster, and they are good enough to beat up Meech. But as we come back on in, I don't think they killed Breezy.
I don't think so either. 0-0-0.
Yeah, well, but Meech didn't kill Breezy.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yes. Okay, that's odd.
I mean, I saw the spear go down, so it's intended. I don't think it's like particularly relevant early on because of the combined auto attacks don't mean a ton, but it does mean if you end up doing it too late, Breezy finds himself in a bit of an awkward position. I don't know if we saw him back or not, but I don't see the spear in Meech's inventory either. So something funky happened.
Well, you know what? Let's just assume nothing weird until we know something weird. But we're getting onto the Rift. We're starting things off. I know we wanted to talk a lot about this duo bot lane, and Amumu could have a bit of trouble early on. Could get zoned pretty hard out of this one. Let's talk a little bit about that if Felios ran out of bot.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is not a typical pairing, right? Typically, if you're seeing Aphelios, it's with a Lulu alongside, but Breezy just goes.
Yeah, the early bandage shots at level 1. Meech is finding some spears, but Jan has brought some guns to the spear fight.
Crazy. Cheating. Can't believe Jan would have these kind of plays.
This is what happens when you go for the advanced weapons in Civ, right? We've talked about lots of different games today. I think it's important to be well-rounded, Josh.
True. And so, I mean, we will pay attention to the bottom lane because Breezy and Meech, going for these early trades, right, you will take a lot of damage in return because Ayla can shield most of what you're doing. And the absolutely nutty thing you can do if you're Ayla, and Ayla might be good enough at this, is if he sees the Bandage Tosh start, you throw out the handshake, and then you get both yourself and the Amumu stunned and nullify a lot of what Breezy can do, because if he doesn't get the first auto attack off, there's no MR shred.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. So, micro interactions can be very important here. Another thing I want to keep my eye on as well is what Team Liquid end up doing with regards to their jungler, because there's so much interesting stuff to talk about this game, but I got to focus on it, because if we expect our Mayo to make moves down bot, how is Rosethorn going to answer? The Gragas jungle was not the thing I expected to see today. It does feel like it was that flex up to try and give Jenkins a better laning matchup.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I've seen Gragas played in the jungle was in an in-house I played recently, and it took over the game because it ganked me 5 times in a single game.
Sounds OP to me.
I mean, it sounds really good, but that's the kind of thing with Gragas is it is an okay tank later on, but the big thing that it does is I like to say it has its ultimate at level 1. Body Slam Flash is incredibly difficult for laners to deal with.
That's true. So we could see a lot of pressure coming out of the area. That old throwback jungle pickup. But so far, nice and easy start. Major advantages across the board nowhere, except down here, I would say the farm differential for Jan. Pretty decent, about 6 minions. See if they can keep that going.
Yeah, but now we have Rosethorn coming down. He already picked up the Scuttle Crab on the bottom side, and remember his Body Slam Flash, he has it right away. Both junglers are appearing bottom.
Okay, they see it, but that's going to be the root on. Can they react in time? Armeo's coming in.
Nice.
The was on. Oh, they turn on Breezy, and Rosethorn's intercepted by Armeo here. This is a nice stuff by Team Liquid.
Oh!
Forward. Oh, that was... I wasn't sure if that was necessary, but I think they've got the damage to finish him off. Flashing forward for Armeo. He's burning.
One more E.
Oh, just trying to pause to take a drink here. Armeo needs to get himself out of harm's way as he's hoping for the body slam to come back.
One more Q.
No, can't quite do it.
Man, it's so crazy watching these two teams go head-to-head. Jan flashing forward, Armeo flashing forward, but the big thing there that I really have to praise Team Liquid for is Jan walking forward to take the bandage toss for his support. He goes forward because he knows he has cleanse. He knows that if Ayla gets caught by the stun, it might be his death, but he is A-okay. So I love what we're seeing from Team Liquid. It shows that they're constantly thinking about the game.
For sure. Now, there is a pretty big price of summoners paid there. That was 4 burnt by Team Liquid across 3 players, whereas it was just an Ignite and a Flash on Breezy and Rosethorn. So overall numbers favoring CLG there, but I mean, pretty low cooldown on the cleanse, so I don't know if it fully counts. Harry's low, by the way. Mid lane. What's going on here? Oh, boy.
I mean,
oh, boy.
It's Seraphine. It's Seraphine. Gotta be careful there, little buddy. And he will just be able to back away, right? He is trading away a lot of HP in order to get his wave in a decent state. But look at that. He's got a small lead in a lane that he's not necessarily supposed to be having any success in. And Harry, if he gets into the mid game, Seraphine really spikes incredibly hard on 1 and 2 items. And Rosethorn, okay.
Right. Try and deny Armeo a little bit. Gromp's going to turn its attention once again. Should reset pretty quickly.
Only one has smite.
Full on smite. Yeah, I guess he just kind of knows he's got it, and he's not worried about the damage dished one way or the other. There we go. Gromp War 1.
And this is pretty uncommon for Team Liquid, right? Typically, Armeo is the person controlling the opposing jungle, but Rosethorn doing a pretty good job, right? When he gets to play this more controlling style, he's outpacing what Armeo is doing on the map and creating more pressure than the Wukong. I want to say Monkey and Wukong at the same time. The Wukong has.
that needs to be a new skin. We've
Wukong.
already got the Pajama Party Alistar.
What is it? Is it cow suit Wukong?
Yeah.
Wukong?
Yeah, it'd be great.
There we go.
Make it happen, Riot. Skin designs team over here. Let's go. But, you know, for all the effort that CLG put into trying to set up that play, Team Liquid not only stopped it, as you mentioned, you know, kind of been able to find a little bit of an advantage here. There, up top lane, it's a pretty big CS differential between the Olaf and the Kled. Yeah, haven't really talked about it much, but that's big.
We also haven't gotten to see a whole lot of it, right? It's definitely been a lane that we have not been looking at, but this is a counter matchup in the sense that you can get the grievous wounds down onto Bradley, and you can kind of take fights around, you know, 2 items in particular. It feels like Bradley should be having a lot more control on the Olaf versus the Kled, just on account of how much sustain you have built into your kit. And we're seeing a small lead for him coming out on Jenkins' counter pick.
Yeah, not a whole lot. So as he's able to catch the full wave, back comes in for Bradley in the teleport. But yeah, you know, we don't want to spend too much time on the top side for now because it's mostly going to be about what happens if they try to make the action happen down bot. Also want to keep an eye on that mid because Harry has already been punished a little bit, has accumulated that CS lead, but Triple's making him pay for it. Hasn't made him burn Flash just yet. And I do think the tempo will swing a little bit with where Rosethorn chooses to go. He's up top right now.
He still has his body slam, but it is Bradley. Here we go.
He's unstoppable. Charge! They go in. That's going to be the Ragnarok immediately popped by the Olaf, but Bradley runs out of hit points before he can do much. Jenkins, well, he uses Scarl to absorb all of the tower aggro as Armeo goes in. Jenkins getting a little greedy here, and Rosethorn might have to try and save him. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it through that knockup.
Oh, where's the ult?
Not a time! They got the little extra health. They're going to turn it out. He needs the barrel against it. I can't believe Jenkins lives.
Oh my gosh, we said one of the ways you can beat Team Liquid is you attack top lane, but Jan firing back.
Looking for more down bot. They realize they might have an opener here, and no jungle is going to be coming anytime soon. As they land down on the Moonlight Vigil, it just doesn't do enough damage this early. CLG getting away with murder here, Joshi.
2 times up in top lane. Both Bradley and Armeo fall to the passive from Jenkins. He drops turret aggro when he jumps off of Skarl. And that's a pretty big lead coming through for Jenkins. That was a well-executed dive, really pushing the limits of the champion. And now they pick up this Rift Herald, and Bradley thwacks him a little bit, but can't do anything about it.
No, Rosethorn, he's got quite a lot of pad in there, able to get out of danger. So CLG making the first plays, making the first move, and it was Jenkins to get the lead there. I can't believe they even go in for another one and still somehow live with the second pop off of Skarl. Jenkins playing incredibly well around this champion he knows so well. As he stops his own back, has a level advantage. Oh no, Bradley has no ultimate. Oh, okay, not going to follow. No ignite. Can't get the kill. Let's take a look at that play again.
Yeah, this is really just good, right? You make sure that Jenkins starts tanking the turret, and even though he's unstoppable and ignores the crowd control, he doesn't ignore the damage and just gets brought down. But the big thing is Armeo is so close here. I actually think that if he was level 6 to start this, they kill Jenkins because Jenkins can't hit back. But hitting level 6 a little bit too late can't keep Jenkins under the turret, and the Q coming through from Rosethorn, just enough mana to make sure that Jenkins has enough damage. And walking on out, that is a huge lead suddenly coming out for CLG's top side.
I gotta say something here, Joshi. That lizard, incredibly loyal. He died for his rider twice.
Yeah. Well, did you know that Skarl is canonically invulnerable and immortal?
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know it.
And yet cowardly. How does that work?
They don't understand that they're immortal.
Off.
They don't understand that they can't die. So it is kind of a crazy situation. And Kled, you know, he's got a very
you know what it is. Skarl is like a writable version of like Hey from Moana. Just makes weird decisions, kind of derpy, but can't die. Hey is the chicken.
Oh.
Yeah, voiced by Alan Tudyk.
Okay. I did not know that part.
You need to go watch that film if you haven't seen it.
It's a good film. I didn't know it had like a real voice actor, but look at this, Harry coming through. He has a small lead.
That chicken was great earlier. But yeah, this is great. Good moves by CLG. They're going to bring Triple and Rosethorn over to take this dragon. Should be able to find this now. They have to get out of harm's way because here comes Armeo. The lockdown is there, cleansed from Meech, and he does dodge the hostile takeover. Even yoinks Breezy back to safety. Again, CLG deny the Team Liquid aggression.
Denying a lot of play coming through for Team Liquid. But, Pyra, now is when it really is time to nut up or shut up, right? You have Team Liquid there coming into their first item spikes relatively soon. Seraphine has a small lead. It is not going this pansy-ass Moonstone build. This is damage, Seraphine, coming through with
like
this.
I like this better. The Moonstone build is, you can definitely miss me with it. I want to see a little bit more damage. I want to see those beats dropped a little faster here. But Harry knows what he's doing. See what he ends up getting on the back by Meech, taking a little damage. There is something to be said for Yon being able to secure a lot of plates down bottom side. But unfortunately, they haven't been able to get those kills to fire back. Rosethorn is going to match pressure on Armeo here. So we might be getting in for a good old 3v3.
Team Liquid doesn't have ultimates, though. I guess neither does CLG. I didn't see the...
Oh, bandage toss. They're going to go in for it. Meech is a little low. Stuffed. That's a handshake onto Rosethorn. This is the move here for Team Liquid. They find one as Yon takes down Breezy. Meech will fall. The bailout for Armeo buys a little bit of time as Triple was actually locked up on the wrong side of his own Sand Soldiers, but still close enough to the tower. That's the 2 kills that Team Liquid were looking for so long.
Yeah, Harry even teleports down to the bottom to support the play, but he might need to go back.
Oh, on the last edge of it, they knew they had the vision. They don't have the follow-up damage, though. Sand Soldier's still stinging. Yon and Aaron the chances. Here we go on that dash forward, and he looks for the damage. It's going to be flashed by Yon. So close there, but one more fast forward. Ayla limping away. They get out.
I would like a replay of that because I want to highlight how correct Ayla really is. It buys so much time in the mid lane for Harry to push up, but because they overstay, I think Triple and Rosethorn were going to leave until they saw that Yon and Ayla had never left, and that's going to be 3 plays getting picked up by Triple here in the bottom lane.
And this bot definitely has been spicy. It looked for a moment that there was going to be quite a lot of stiff arming from CLG, but they do finally lose that duo. Meanwhile, back up top, we got to check in as Jenkins has already managed to make the play onto Bradley once. That was with help, but I feel like he might be fancying his chances. Plates are kind of dropping quick this game, although we are running out of time.
We are running out of time, so there's not a lot of room left for CLG to pick up even more. But here's the whole play, and I hope we get to see the second part. But the big thing here is the bailout, saving Armeo as he goes in, finding the double knockup, and he gets so low, but having the bailout gives him just enough time to find the second kill instead of trading in a 1-for-1. Team Liquid, they're able to play it, but as we watch the second part of this play, watch how Ayla deals with triple in particular, right? He knows there's no Shuriman and Shuffle available, but Ayla is so good at hanging on to abilities until they are ready for the right time. Even though Jan, being a little bit of a psychopath here, instantly finds the handshake and says, "No, get off my AD carry."
That was great. He didn't even, by the way, he didn't burn Flash. A lesser support would have taken the safe play. No, he just keeps walking.
Ayla is the best player we have in Academy, and we get to see it every single day.
You know, it's a little spicy, but I think he got something there.
Yeah.
Take a look at Ayla too. Good Renata as well. Breezy certainly knows his way around this champion, but couldn't quite get past it to get to Jan this time around.
Okay. I was wondering if Romeo was going to try and make something happen there. And again, I want to point it out. Harry, playing Seraphine into Azir, has a CS lead. Harry is
still
a super, super good laner. Now, historically, he's had some problems around this part of the game, where if he doesn't have a big enough lead, if he doesn't start fighting some kills, he can oftentimes kind of struggle to find an impact in this early mid game. But now he's on the Seraphine. This is when Seraphine is big. This is when Seraphine is the main character of the game. But as we saw with TSM, you can't do these plays on your own. You are very reliant on getting the rest of your team to stand in front of you. And as we have less than a minute on the next Dragon, this is Harry's opportunity to showcase why they picked him as champion.
I do love seeing these two Oceanic mids clash against one another. Do have a bit of history. You got to keep in mind, playing together at the same time, not on the same roster, but of course, you know, back in the day, Triple on the side of Mammoth, 2019, and before that, Dire Wolves. Harry at the same time. You know, he played for Gravitas for a couple of years, and then Order just after that. So they definitely went head-to-head. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I do remember it being relatively spicy.
Yeah, wasn't Ayla on Order as well, or Avant-Garde? He definitely played in an Oceanic team at around the same time. Never quite got to finals, or never winning finals. He got second a couple of times.
Honestly, I really should just, you know who we could ask? We could ask Team Liquid's coach Spawn. He would know all about that. As the face call does yoink Breezy right back, but the hostile takeover does send Beach berserk for a second.
Really do the damage. They won it.
Here comes Bradley. And the axe is on, trying to get the chase, but I don't think he's going to... Wait a minute, I thought he did have just enough. Takes a lot of damage from return. Man, it's like attacking a porcupine.
That's a bold play coming through from Bradley, because he sacrificed his entire top lane turret in order to guarantee this Dragon. That is a decision that Team Liquid are making, but they're also going to be losing the mid lane because of the Herald that CLG were able to snag previously. And now Harry has to flash.
All right, that's going to be the party barrel coming out. Harry just chased away from the tower on the charge, and that's going to be it. So, Dragon apiece, towers taken, 2 of them by CLG to extend that gold lead. It's still at only about 2,000. And we do have an Infernal Rift yet again today. Speaking of spicy drakes, here comes the Breezy looking for the setup. Throwing Golden at the back as Jan is just trying to pump out the damage. They realize they need to take him down as he was isolated. But here comes the second wind effort here. Harry staying healthy and keeping Jenkins at arm's length. And that will be it.
That was an awkward fight coming out from Team Liquid, right? And those are the times where Team Liquid will look back and say, I don't know if we got beaten so much as we just screwed up. I'm not sure what Jan was really doing there. He chose to take an incredibly aggressive route in order to actually get into the fight. And CLG, to their credit, Breeze is like, what if I separate you from the one thing that can keep you alive? What if Harry is not able to heal you? And Jan is like, fair point. I guess I'll just die.
Pretty much how it happened. So Team Liquid do sustain a couple of losses there, but all the same, they prevented them from getting worse, I should say. Also cutting down Drake stacking, probably going to be a little important in this particular game. And a note from our wonderful Kelsey Moser. Harry and Ayla, both on the Order roster that Coach Spawn founded.
True.
A little detail that I neglected to mention before. That's quite a lot
Can't believe you. I thought you were an Oceanic representative.
I mean, I was for a good split. I have to say, it was a wonderful time out there in Sydney. Beautiful city, great people, good times. Murder spiders, but apart from that, it's fantastic.
Harry.
You ever been ganked by Elise before?
Nah, I mean, I live up in Washington. Like, we don't really have any big spiders up here. It's pretty great.
That's good. It's a good place. Good place to be.
Yeah. I did have
back into
black
this game.
widows that used to live in my apartment when I was living in LA. That was a little bit spooky, but Bradley has our mayo.
I think he realized there was going to be 2 on him there. Quickly pops the charge to get out of harm's way. It can be used as a defensive tool as well. Jenkins doing all right. No need for move speed summoners or flashes, anything like that. He's got the Ignite TP.
Yep.
Sort of mutually assured destruction if he needs it. But yeah, we were talking about good places to be at 19 minutes. I think CLG are feeling pretty good about their place in this game with a gold lead of about 3,500.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the teams overall, I favor CLG from this position if I didn't know who the players were. And even knowing who the players are, I still feel like I am slightly favoring them. Just because of the fact that we haven't seen Team Liquid show up with the Seraphine just quite yet. It is something that they were the only team to really play some Seraphine in spring. But even then, like, they've become a lot more chaotic team than they were in spring. They used to be kind of a boring macro team, but now they're just going for fights, but they haven't lined up all 5 members yet.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see... need to see Team Liquid put out a little bit more damage when they get to it. The tier is fully stacked right now for Harry, so we should start to see him come online a little bit more. But critically, Triple has those 2 kills. He's been able to do a lot with Sand Soldiers as well, and the Rylai's slow effect's certainly not going to be something that they'll have an easy time getting over. But both teams just kind of keeping each other at arm's length for right now, looking for picks, not looking for massive advantages just yet.
Yeah.
Because neither of them can really full 5v5 over these big objectives. Baron's quite early, and it's going to be a late Dragon Soul if it happens.
And I feel like one of the things we often talk about that I praise Team Liquid for rather consistently is you look at the kill score and it's oftentimes very even between Team Liquid and whoever they're playing against. But Team Liquid just randomly just has like a 4,000 gold lead at this point in the game. That is on the other foot right now. CLG have done a better job. They've picked up all 3 outer turrets. They are doing a better job, a slightly better job farming across the board with the exception of Harry. And picking up this Cloud Dragon means that they are preventing Team Liquid from just chaining together a bunch of dragons into the soul. And so for the first time, CLG... And this is bold. I love this.
Oh my goodness, doing it outside vision. This is the sneakiest Baron. 3 members. They shredded fast. Breeze is tanking.
And they have Gragas in the mid lane. Team Liquid have no idea.
What a heist this is.
Ayla smells something.
Too late. Breeze got executed.
Respect. Respect. Big respect from Breezy to die for the cause. They pick up the Baron, and CLG, they are firmly in control right now. They have the ability to play the side lanes. They don't need to challenge Team Liquid for this upcoming Dragon, but they choose to.
Joshi, that was some Giga Brain strats, and they've got the knock-in. They've caught Yon. He takes the tower. He's burning. He's burning. They've got the shields to heal. And he stays alive, but now, even in a 5v4, they might be able to chase him down. Look at how low that Aphelios is. They're going to try to shred this dragon, and CLG have no interest whatsoever. They're going to go for towers.
Yeah, CLG does not care about this dragon. What, yeah, it's your second dragon at 22 minutes? Okay, I'm going to take your inhibitor turret off on the other side. Yon, once again, a little bit of awkward positioning. He's not having the greatest game in the world, and Triple picking up a side lane inhibitor turret. Jenkins in the mid lane. Team Liquid are getting the run around this game, and CLG playing such a clean macro game.
Okay, going to try to go for it. They do lane in. 2 charms on with the flash ult from Harry. And they will secure Breezy off the back of this. Can they get any more here as Armeo gets stuffed by Meech and Rosethorn? Teleport comes in from Triple to ensure that the team will actually have everything on point. And a second charge of that Cyclone doesn't find purchase. 22.5 minutes. Team Liquid get 1 for their trouble, but that's it.
I mean, I want to say they put a stop to the Baron buff pushes, but they really didn't.
No, and they can't even take that tower. Objective bounty's not going to be able to be collected here. Man, CLG with the hit and run tactics this game. I love it.
Yeah. This is a really cool composition coming out from CLG. And while, like, the individual parts, like, I feel like the cool Gragas and the cool Amumu are just, they are in the game. The Kled has paid off beautifully. It has really stifled Bradley from having an impact on this game. And then their ability to play around some of the aggressive opportunities that Yon has looked for.
Okay.
Are they letting it die?
I mean, they let it get down very low.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening there. I can't analyze this. You analyze this, Joshi. What's happening?
I don't. Are they letting it die?
Yeah. What?
I hate that. I hate that.
What? Okay, that's got to be some ego, right?
Okay, so
That's
you know
that's
the
like sending a message.
core theory that LS in particular has been very vocal about is if you let your inhibitors go down or you take your opponent's inhibitors too early, the team that takes the inhibitors loses a lane of farm. They cannot farm that for about 4 minutes. And so Team Liquid, this is their claim that they are better later on in the game, that they will just not lose enough here over the next several minutes, that the free farm and the guaranteed extra source of income is going to be enough. Now, I don't agree with them one bit, but that's the idea.
Well, we'll see if it pays off for him later on down the line as the barrel bops them all, and here comes Jenkins through the line, but that's going to be the immediate turn for Team Liquid as the Mayo takes down Roseborn. Jenkins popped off of Scarl and isolated from the rest of the pack here as Bradley keeps them all up. The bailout comes through to keep him alive for a few more seconds as Triple pulls off a big shove away, but it is only a 1-for-3 trade in favor of Team Liquid, and well, Baron buff's done now.
Yeah, Baron buffs, I mean, long gone at this point. But this is kind of what my argument was. I think that Team Liquid are strong now. You want to be taking the fights. You don't just want to be letting this sit around. But if this is what's going to happen, if you're going to win the fights right now and get free farm, then Team Liquid come up with a double win. So even though I don't like the play, the fact that it is now coming out ahead means that for this kind of risky choice that they've made, they are very excited about the fact that Harry just gets to come on back. They instantly rotate him over in CLG. They see an inhibitor goes down and they want to force something, but this is the difficulty we said. There's 2 team fight deciding ults, 2 massive zone controls coming through, and Team Liquid are able to play around it. The only thing that really allows CLG to fire back at all is what's kind of been a trend. Bradley going a little bit too far forward, but the rest of the play looked great.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to call out, too. That was a very, very late Curse of the Sad Mummy because of the handshake from Ayla. You talked about how Ayla is, in your opinion, best sport in the Academy. I think that's a strong contender for a reason why. Yeah. Really good denial of the Wombo-Mumby combo.
Yeah, good point. Ayla, he talks a lot about how he will hold his abilities for the right time, and seeing the handshake, seeing him lock down Breezy is a great example of that. But they're still down 7,000 gold. They're still down, or about 6,000 at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
They still need to fight for all of these objectives, and having this inhibitor pushing up in the top side does mean that CLG can play it a little bit slower. There's a dragon spawning in less than a minute, and they know Team Liquid has to respond.
Yep, Jenkins going to be able to finish the job on the tower down bottom. I mean, we'll see if the 4D chess play works out, because Harry is absorbing a lot of farm and keeping the CS over Triple, I guess?
Yeah. It's not large, but he's doing his job. The other thing, I'm not a fan of this item, but the whole idea of building this Rylai's on the Seraphine is it turns your E, right? We talked about how it upgrades crowd control. Because Rylai slows, that happens first, and then the E upgrades that into a root. So suddenly, all of your E's are guaranteed root minimum, and it gives you a lot of catch tools to try and pick people up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, especially when you have like someone like Bradley that can chase you down. As long as they pick the right focus fire target, I think that's pretty big. Meech can pretty much solo take this dragon. Nice thing about Callista is Ren does a lot of damage. Woo! So they're all even on dragons. Like I said, if this is going to be a soul game, it will go very, very late. Another big wave of minions crashes into the downed inhibitor, intentionally so, as the Baron is back on the Rift.
And you see that CLG, like, they keep question mark pinging this top lane. It's like, are they letting this inhibitor die? Are they just letting this push in and build?
Well, Armeo is going to have to use the defensive Cyclone. They're sticking to him here. Oh, the barrel just knocks him away. But that's one cast used, and they're not done just yet. Here comes Jenkins, turns berserk, pops off Scarl, but they're trying to go in for round 2. Breezy goes golden here, does not have the ultimate, and they're going to get stopped if the teleport comes through for Bradley. That's going to be the reset on CLG's side.
I mean, Team Liquid, they're trying to make these fights happen, right? Harry flashing forward with the ultimate once again to try and catch people because they don't have great engage tools. But now, Bradley has no teleport, and somebody has to answer the super minions.
They can keep going for that Baron. Teleport in from Jenkins right now. Triple still hangs on to his as he's with the rest of the team. Yeah, letting the minions take the inhibitor. Doesn't seem
now
like
they're hitting.
A great idea.
This is why I didn't like the play from Team Liquid. Now they come in, they have to challenge us, and they're too late. They can't fight this.
Actually gets secured by Jenkins. They find a little bit of poke damage, but they isolate. Here comes Armeo through the clone. They still find some damage. As he wraps around the side, the Sand Soldier's starting to hurt. Jenkins doesn't find it in here. And it's going to be a little bit of an arm's length here from Team Liquid, but they take a fair bit of damage. The backs just taunting them with them here, but that's the turnaround once more. Team Liquid is forced to flash the wall at this point. Very touch and go. This is separation. And the turn. Do they have the damage? No, it's Rosethorn that falls to Yon first, but Jenkins keeps the back line locked up as Harry falls. It's a 1-for-1 Armeo going with the knockup yet again. Stuff Breezy trying to make the play, and CLG may have gotten the Baron, but they're running out of members. The dive from Team Liquid to chase down Triple just gets them away as they gets executed by the tower. What a wacky game this is. Armeo's not done just yet. Triple stops him.
That is so funny. The only reason why Team Liquid are able to get away with this crazy play is something I didn't even notice. Triple was out of mana that entire fight. He couldn't throw any Sand Soldiers. He wasn't able to participate. And Team Liquid, they find a team fight win. They put a stop to almost all the Barons. Triple's the only one who walks away with the Baron buff. But Team Liquid, you know, their inhibitor is back up. They've taken away a lot of these Baron buffs, but they're down 7,000 gold. And we saw in our previous games, right? TSM versus Dignitas. Dignitas was effectively up 12,000 gold between the Orin items and the soul that they had picked up. CLG is only up 7,000?
Well, that happened.
That happened.
Look at this again.
This is wild.
I didn't catch how the Azir was as well. I mean, it looks like a great start for CLG, right? Like Armeo's a little bit split from the team. The Sand Soldiers are hurting. He walks away. Jenkins is zoning, and then things get a little hectic.
You just can't walk into a Seraphine. You just can't do it, right? Through choke points, and there's so many choke points here. And now, look at Triple, right? He is trying to participate, but he has, I would guess, AW, and he's trying to back at the beginning of the fight, right? This is effectively a 5v4 while Team Liquid don't have most of their ultimates. And so, even though Jenkins gets Harry and turns the fight into something kind of winnable, it's a situation where Team Liquid are still just fighting where Azir can't participate. He gets a couple of auto attacks off, and, you know, Team Liquid make a couple of funny plays towards the end, but good awareness from Team Liquid to actually take that fight in the first place.
This part is really what sells it for me at the end. Triple has just enough mana to pull off the Emperor's Divide.
Exactly.
Someone has to tell the tale of what happened that day.
And it is Triple, but he is now 4-0 and has double burn plus a Rylai's. He's going to be doing a ton of DPS in this fight if he can live.
Oh, and he gets charmed right into his own wall at this point. Goes golden for a second. Look what's happening the rest of the map right now as they do get the shutdown onto Triple, who's stepping way too far forward. CLG's focus was just a bit split.
And Team Liquid, we've seen them do crazier things in a potential comeback here, stopping CLG's push yet again. And Triple, he has teleport. He will be able to play for this upcoming Dragon, I think, because I don't see the timers. But it's definitely Team Liquid. They're doing a good job firing back, but it's not as though they are out of the woods yet, right? It is a tenuous lead for CLG, but it's also a situation where if CLG ever win a fight, the game ends.
That's why it's so tight at the moment, because Team Liquid keep on winning, but they need to keep on keeping on with it, and the Dragon will spawn. This is the moment for Team Liquid.
Look
Try
at
and get
the
themselves
flanks,
on Soul
though.
Point. Oh, the wraparound. They need to stop so many things here. Dragon started off. Here comes Rosethorn. I think this is going to get secured by Team Liquid.
Kite down.
As they're going to get them on. Here comes Jenkins through looking for a joust.
Direction.
Find it. The teleport for Bradley comes through. They've separated the rest of CLG. Still, last teleport from Triple is going to be a bit late. And they're going to try for the big pincer. But Rosethorn is the weak link, it seems, as they chase him down on the outside. Fate's Call going to pull in Breezy here to make a play. Rosethorn buying time. Everybody gets knocked up into the curse of the Sad Mummy as Triple takes down Ayla. CLG have enough in the tank, but it's a 3v3 right now. They're looking for more Harry. Isolated, nowhere to go. Push back. Emperor's Divide as Romeo and Bradley, the last member standing through all of the spears. Triple kill for Triple. Can he make it a quadra? I don't think so, but Jenkins, he certainly can help.
Ooh, this is so close. Armeo has like almost no mana.
Oh, popped off Scarl. Look for the attacks, and that's the ace.
That's game.
33.5. They're going to just march it down.
That's game, right? We looked at it. We got to pay attention every single time to can Seraphine set up a front to back. That fight was chaotic across the entire board. They were constantly trying to figure out, do we go up? Do we try and fight Jenkins up on the top side? Do we need to chase down Rosethorn? And the split decision allows CLG to rip apart the Death Ball. But Team Liquid, they've survived. They lose 2 inhibitors, but they get the dragon.
They root Jenkins. He knows he's a dead man almost. He does get Scarl back. The nice thing about Kled, very deceptive on the health bars. But they get 2 inhibitors, not the game here, Joshi. We were a bit premature. This is a very tense game, despite a 9,000 gold advantage for CLG, a soul point for Team Liquid, Barons that have gone all sorts of ways. This is a game of League of Legends. That's all I gotta say.
This is one hell of a game of League of Legends. Team Liquid, they fell apart so much early on, but Team Liquid, as they start, like, look at this, right? They are super split. Yon and Armeo went to Rosethorn, but Harry, Ayla, and Bradley want to go up. And the biggest point is, they didn't agree. They didn't agree on where they wanted to go, and so Bradley, he tries to create a front line, but the rest of the front line is trying to deal with Rosethorn.
Speaking of front lines, we're right back to the fights here as Armeo, ooh, he was trying to get away from that, and the Emperor's Divide just make sure he definitely does. That's a pretty crucial ultimate expended on both sides. Armeo doesn't have Cyclone anymore.
Team Liquid, they don't have 2 inhibitors, so CLG doing nothing is winning. They just need to wait for Team Liquid to have to respond to the supers.
And they're going to help them a little bit too. Look at Jenkins right now. He's not with the team. He's pushing down the top side. So there needs to be a back coming through, and it's Bradley that's taking it. That's going to be the turnaround. It might be a fake out here, as the Baron may be the objective for CLG's side.
Jenkins, as he starts to push in, I think they are threatening to hit the Baron. Team Liquid can't leave, because
if Bradley dies...
If Bradley dies, that's game, and Jenkins has ultimate... Oh, just kidding, he doesn't. I lied.
It's a wraparound, though. He doesn't need the ultimate right now. He's going to have it in a few seconds, and there we go. Ayla does manage to find the big ultimate himself.
Okay!
Enough, but Yon takes down Rosethorn. They look for Ayla. Goes golden. It's Team Liquid with the better target selection here. And now it's on triple for the rest of the team to try and get something back. The Ren stack sticking in Bradley. But
you're in the wrong base.
CLG have gone to the wrong base here. Team Liquid trying to evict them.
Now they're trying to turn around. They find Meech.
There we go. The flash. Trying to get out of harm's way here. That's going to be the knockup. Once again, Romeo does get that ultimate right back for the extra cast. Playing on the edge here is Meech trying to save the game. Save it for his team. Yon will fall. The double kill goes through, but he is the last man standing, and he cannot dodge the axe forever. And then Nexus turret still just about to fall. Don't let it happen, Team Liquid.
Don't do it this time, Team Liquid. You don't give up that one. There's no reason to do it. You don't get any benefit from that. But this is an absolutely crazy game. I love watching games with Seraphine in it because you have such a clear focal point. You know how both teams need to play. And Team Liquid, they buy so much time. But is it enough? There's an Infernal Soul spawning. If they win this fight...
They have teleports available. They have 19 seconds on Yon. And it's a little bit more on the CLG side. If they can rush this right now, who knows what CLG opt for. If they handshake on the Baron, they try to take the fight. This game has absolutely no guarantees. This is chaos.
True chaos. I love Seraphine metas, man. They are so much fun to watch. The fights are so chaotic, but CLG, they have so much map control, and Ayla can't afford to go down, right? You're seeing bags come through. The hat is completed onto Harry. He is the full-on wizard at this point. And he is our main character. If he lives, they win. If he dies, they lose.
Well, anyone who's played a game of D&D knows you want to make sure the wizard doesn't take too much
damage. Keep the
damage.
casters alive.
Yeah, exactly.
They're hitting the Baron.
Harry hasn't lost on this champion, I have to say, but here is the handshake right now. You've got Yon, Armeo, Harry, Bradley, everyone from Team Liquid converging on the Baron, and it's CLG who have called the bluff to try and take the play here. It's Rosethorn absorbing a lot of damage at the moment, but does he have enough? Here comes Freezy into the Mummy Ultimate. Is it going to be the turnaround again for CLG? It's Ayla taking out Rosethorn. The Emperor's Divide
Bradley's
is
stuck.
only going to keep him locked for a moment because Bradley was chasing down triple. 2 members gone. Team Liquid with the edge, they can do whatever they want.
And Ayla, again, shades of what we saw in Proving Grounds finals, but they gotta deal with Meech, they gotta deal with the super minions in their base, and there's so many objectives.
Handshake! That's huge! Meech is gonna die here, and that is enough to shut down
Team Liquid!
Team Liquid, they've got supers in their base, but they're about to secure.
They're teleporting in!
Dragon Soul, Breezy wants to stop the backs. Look at Jenkins, he wants to end it. He gets the Nexus turret. Oh no, she this game.
Breezy is so desynced, though. Breezy is so desynced. He's dead, and the Infernal Soul goes over. The Baron buff is still on, and as they pick up the Baron, again, shades of what we saw in the Proving Grounds finals. Ayla with the hostile takeover across two sides of a wall catches so many CLG members as they try to fall back. CLG, for the first time, are on the back foot.
Oh, that gold doesn't mean hardly anything now. Infernal Soul with 3 Infernals for Team Liquid. Baron
Inhibs
buff
are
on
up.
all members. Inhibs are back up. You know what? I think the chess gambit worked out. That top inhibitor, they let it fall, but look where they are now.
Yeah, stupid Joshi, what was he thinking? Clearly we're going to go on a 40 minutes every single time this game.
Oh,
CLG.
boy.
Now they need to hold on, right? Because they were so far ahead in turrets, that gold lead is about to evaporate. Jenkins going to try and take a fight against Bradley, but he's got super minions, or not super minions, Baron up minions. It is so hard to defend these structures.
Bradley has an outer turret that he's about to carve through. They're going to collect a lot of standing gold and probably even up that gold lead, and now it's going to be Team Liquid pushing 4 strong. 5 strong make that up top side.
And as they push in, they see Triple down on the bottom side. Remember, he got an inhib on the very first Baron that they got. We see some pings towards a potential teleport ward that Triple could go to, but Team Liquid trying to end the game. You can't base race us. There are 5 of us here.
Oh, they shred the tower at the moment. That's going to be one of falling into the inhibitor. The charge doesn't go. They realize Triple and Meech, they got it back to base if they want to save this game for themselves. That's going to be the knock. They do manage to find Bradley, but it's not the target they were looking for. Turn it around again. They find the tower. Team Liquid equalize on Nexus turrets, and they keep the death ball rolling. Back to the fountain, go Roadstone and Breezy. It's going to be a final ditch fight for them to save their team's lives this game, number 1. I can't believe we got a whole nother one after this. Yeah, go ahead and put up that stun disc. It's going to be a fun disc for this one.
Team
Nexus
Liquid, they don't
tower.
have waves. The mid lane wave is all the way in their base. The bottom lane wave is all the way in their base. They only have top waves to play with, and they're burning through this Baron.
They are. Team Liquid a little backed against CLG's base at the moment. Look at Jenkins on a flank. He's got an inner turret too. Guarding that one. Let's see. We need to see that charge come. That's going to be the game-deciding play right now.
It's on Harry. Harry's separated. Harry doesn't have his front line.
Gonna fall. Here we go. Breezy going through that.
They got him! They got him!
Into the shuffle. They do have the picks, but do they have the damage? It's Team Liquid that do instead. And everybody falls. CLG, after everything, will be the ones losing this game at 41.5 on a quadra kill for Yon.
Yon, he struggled early on in this game, but he comes up quietly. 12, 3, and 10. A quadra kill coming through. Team Liquid show resilience in this game. It was a wild one. We saw a bunch of crazy fights back and forth yet again, Pyra. I love watching Seraphine in these games, and even though they scoop Harry, they can't kill him.
Now, you can get all the CC you want, but you do have to find the kills, and it was Team Liquid with the Soul, with the Baron, with the Death Ball to finish the job. What a wild back-and-forth game. Harry remains undefeated on Seraphine. I think that's his second or third game on it, but
yeah.
Hey, you know what? It counts. It still counts. You got the W in the column. Was it clean? No. Was it entertaining?
Yes.
Absolutely. What a hell of a game. This one absolutely delivered for game number 1. We're going to have a second. We're going to need to catch our breaths, but my word, Joshi, I don't even know how you call that. We're going to have to just cool down. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.